don't know, punk is an attitude. Individuality is the key. It's about being what you want to be and not what you're pressured to be. About living life on your own terms. That's pretty much it. That's all I'd say, really.
That was Donovan. He's guest DJing here tonight. And where's he guest DJing at? Say hello to Tooth and Nail. Held every Wednesday at Johnny V's in San Jose, California, it's the place to go for skate punk, metal, and a little industrial here and there. Combine that with the skate videos they show in the club, and you have one shreddingly good time. At Tooth and Nail, they like it loud. Really loud. Spleen-rattlingly loud. When this place kicks into high gear, good luck having a conversation with anyone. But that doesn't stop the bartender from pouring the beer and mixing the drinks. He must have superhuman hearing or something. After kicking back for a while to watch the headbanging customers and skate videos, I thought I'd talk to the headman of the club. Meet DJ Test.
Alright, what's up? What's your name, bro?
My name's Scott Rich, and I'm DJ Test. Play punk rock vinyl. Mix it on Wednesday nights in downtown San Jose.
Cool, man. How you been doing this?
We've been doing this since the summer of 2015. We used to call it Dirty Rotten Wednesdays, and we stopped it for about 2 months and then restarted it. Now it's called Tooth and Nail.
Cool, man. Why Johnny V's?
Well, Johnny V's in San Jose is pretty much the only place that lets us do what we want. The clubs down here are pretty mainstream, and we do not care for that kind of stuff. Johnny V's has an awesome sound system. He lets us play skate videos up on the wall. He lets us mosh. He lets us play loud, and for that reason, I think it's pretty cool. Underground sound, pretty much over here.
Awesome, man. So, like, when you spin personally, what do you like to spin?
I play 80s punk, skate rock mainly, stuff like Minor Threat, Faction, The Dicks, all that kind of stuff, The Cramps, X. I like to play some what I call country punk too, which is a lot of that stuff. Build it up. It's pretty nice, man.
After the DJ Test interview, I kicked back with a Coke. While I was, all hell broke loose. Why? All the bars on this strip have what they call the Power Hour. It's from 11 p.m. to 12 a.m., and they have half-price drinks at a certain theme. All the rest of the bars on the strip do something weak and mainstream like play Beyonce for the whole hour or some crap. Not Tooth and Nail. Right here is where you get the one and only Slayer Power Hour. A full hour of half-price drinks, Slayer blasting from the sound system, and random mosh pits breaking out all over. But you can't have underground sound without art. There are two visual artists who have a weekly residency at the club. We decided to speak to one of them. Meet Noggin.
What's up? Who are you?
Noggin Mohica, San Jose.
Right on, and you're like the artist here?
Yeah, I've been doing it for going on a month now. Every Wednesday night we do punk night here.
Cool, what are your inspirations?
Graffiti artwork, punk rock, skateboarding, beer. About it.
Cool. And you've been here for about a year, you said?
We've been here for like a month. I've been painting and stuff pretty much my whole life.
Awesome. Do you have like any gallery shows coming up, or?
I don't. I just had one. You can find me here pretty much on Wednesday nights if you're looking for anything.
All right,
cool. Or Noggin Mohica on Facebook.
Anything you want to say to the people out there?
Ride a skateboard. That's it. Cool.
Want some intense music and killer drinks, like skate videos and watching killer artists do their thing? Then you now know where to go every Wednesday night at Johnny V's in San Jose. Kick back, bang your head, and tell 'em Moshed Potato sent you. This is Judas Corpse Boy.
Hello?
Hello, may I speak to Joe Keithley, please?
Right here.
Hello, Joe. My name's Dean Ricks. I'm with Moshed Potatoes. We got an interview scheduled today. You ready?
Well, I forgot. You know what? I'm ready. I was born ready. So there you go, Dean. Go ahead.
All right, cool. We can use another time if you're like got something planned, or I don't know.
No. Hey, like I said, there's no time like the present. Yeah, go for it.
All right, cool. Well, let's get started. And if this starts to take too long, let me know, okay?
I won't be able to go on too long, but yeah, no, a reasonable amount of questions, of course.
Sure. All right. Well, real quick, let's start off with this one. I'm going to say the names of 4 U.S. presidential candidates, and I'd like your opinion of them. First thing comes to your mind, okay?
Okay, what was the question again?
I'm going to say the names of a few U.S. presidential candidates. Why don't you say the first thing that comes to your mind? All right?
Okay, sure. Yeah.
Hillary Clinton.
Oh, wow. Yesterday's news.
Okay. Ted Cruz.
Bible nut.
Bernie Sanders.
The best choice.
Last but not least, you probably knew this was coming, Donald Trump.
Time to dump Trump.
Definitely. What do you think a Trump presidency would mean from a Canadian perspective?
You know what? Trying to say, if everything was like the way he was talking, then it would be one thing. But obviously, public opinion, Congress, and the Senate will play a big factor, and the Supreme Court too, I suppose. But for Canada, I think probably less trade. I think I think he likes Canada. I don't know, but he's a protectionist in that sense. Try and protect American jobs. Which is that's a pretty valid point of view as well, right? Of course, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I don't know what else would mean for Canada. It's really hard to say, right? So.
Okay. Well, speaking of political things, your last run for a representative, I think it was?
Yeah, the Canadian equivalent is called an MLA, but the same thing as like a state rep.
Yeah. Well, what was the greatest hurdle in doing that, and what do you think you're going to do differently in 2017?
What did I get out of it, or what? Sorry.
What was the greatest difficulty you had to overcome in your last run, and what do you think you're going to do differently in 2017? Lack of organization, lack of money. Okay. And we got lots of spirit and lots of goodwill, and people really liked me. But compared to the mainstream parties, lack of volunteers and lack of money. So like for May 2017 is the next time we have an election here. I've learned an awful lot about it, so I'd be a lot better prepared, and I think I'd have a better chance. Okay. I'm a person who tries to learn from my mistakes. It doesn't always work, but I try anyways. Yeah, I can know that feeling. Segueing into things with DOA, are there going to be any more benefit shows to raise legal funds, defense funds for the protesters? And what's happening to oppose expansion now from Joe Keithley's perspective? Or Joe Keithley's end of it, I should say. Yeah, no, we don't have any benefits planned. I mean, we're working on, and we just got a new album out a while back called Hard Rain Falling. That's out, out for a few months, obviously. Yeah. We're planning a Western tour, right down the Western states, and which will include punk rock bowling on the 29th. And then we're going to Europe in July. And, then we'll do a bunch of stuff in the fall, too, as well. Probably more U.S. shows, obviously, right? Yeah. What's the second part of your question? And what's happening on side of DOA to oppose expansion right now, as far as, like, protests or anything, or? Well, nothing really. I mean, the big thing that would come up is the pipeline. Is the couple pipelines are the big issues out here. Right. Most Americans wouldn't be that familiar with them, but there's 2 big oil pipelines they want to build through BC from Alberta, which is obviously where the bitumen, which is heavy oil sands. Right. That's where it originates from, Alberta. So they want to pipe it out to here and then ship it over to India and China. But there's a lot of resistance, which I'm involved with. It's just going through some court hearings right now. Mm-hmm. So there's not much going on with it. And plus we have a new federal government that is not
oil mad as the Conservatives were.
Right.
We have Liberal government, so hopefully they're a bit smarter about this. But that remains to be seen. Politicians say an awful lot of things when they want to get elected, and different things when they do get elected. Unfortunately.
Yeah. This one's just for fun. Who do you think would last longer in a pit at a DOA show, Justin Trudeau or Stephen Harper?
Who would be more likely to show up?
Who would last longer in a pit at a DOA show, Justin Trudeau or Stephen Harper? Let's say in a perfect world, they showed up to the show and they're in the pit. Who would last the longest of the two?
Well, Trudeau, just because of his youth, I think he'd have a better chance, and he'd have some sort of sense of what it's all about. I don't think Harper would understand it at all. He'd probably just try and call for Secret Service to come and help him or something.
Okay. A quick question about history this time. Did you know any of the guys in punk's first wave, like anybody from the Vile Tones or Teenage Head? Were you familiar with them at all or knew them at all?
Yeah, we played with the Vile Tones. Yep, I lived in Toronto in 1977 when the scene started out there, which was sort of about the same time Vancouver scene started, maybe a little bit ahead of Vancouver. Played the Vile Tones, played with the Demics. I know Mickey from the Forgotten Rebels, played with them lots of times. Trying to think who else is out there. Most of the original Ontario bands, the DOA would have played a lot of shows with them.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And
that was it. Yeah, good scene they had out there.
Right on. The last two questions for you, so I don't want to take up too much of your time. Okay, it's been 14 years since the creation of DOA Day in Vancouver. If the Joe Keithley I'm speaking to now could travel back through time and space and give advice to the Joe Keithley that existed on that day in 2002, what would you say to him?
Yeah. Wow, that's a good question. Probably a million things. Hey, don't write this song, don't put out that record. That's going to waste money.
Right.
Mostly from a label perspective. Not that much, right? I mean, you have to. I think in life you just go along and take things in stride, and if you have a good philosophy that you believe in yourself, then you'll usually make more or less the right decision. Obviously, not the perfect one every time, right? So, not too much. The DOA Day was a great honor. It was really funny and not something we expected, right? So we'll have to do something for the bigger thing for the 15th anniversary of it, right? So
exactly.
Whether the city honors it or not, I don't know, but we can always make a big fuss about it ourselves.
Okay. And probably last but not least, what are the major changes in the Canadian scene and also the international punk scene you've witnessed over the years? What is really different from then to now, do you think? Or what has changed for the better or worse? Or
Well, I mean, I think one of the things that there's still a good punk rock scene. It's very underground, which it was in the old days, obviously, like when you think back to, Black Flag, Minor Threat, DOA, Bad Brains, that really early scene where the shows are small, like 100 people, 200 people, that kind of thing, right? There might be a few bigger ones, right? In Los Angeles, right? But so I think it's still underground. It's still got a lot of purpose, like politically, like the kids that are involved understand that punk rock should be like anti-authoritarian and try and get people to think for themselves, and that whole aspect is there. I mean, obviously, the whole sort of pop punk, mall punk, or whatever, that's, it's like, it is what it is. I wouldn't, for the most part, I really wouldn't consider it punk rock, even though it kind of sounds like punk rock in a sense, right? But, because it, really got no guts to it. So those kind of changes, I mean, obviously, there's so many offshoots of punk rock and variations of that, subgenres. I think that which is cool, because you can't expect it to sound like 1977 forever.
Right.
And in 1977, there were a lot of variations already then, right? If you think of like artsy punk, straight ahead, oi, or more Californian American punk type thing. So there already were lots of different ideas in it. It's just split in 100 more ways since then, I suppose.
Thank you, Joe. You've been great.
What is up? This is your roving reporter, Judas Corpseboy, coming to you live from the Oakland Metro Opera House. We're here to see the World Inferno Friendship Society and Culture Shock, the one, the only. So let's get to it.
Sunday, July 17th, the Oakland Metro Opera House in Oakland, California. I got there early to get a good place to park, as well as conduct interviews with the bands who were on the bill that night. I got there just in time to see the bands load in and set up. World Inferno Friendship Society got there first, with Culture Shock following shortly after. The opening band, Love Songs, were already there by the time I got there. The merch tables were set up next, starting with a table for Alternative Tentacles Records. The individual bands had their tables, of course, but also set up was a table for Research, the inimitable Bay Area institution. In fact, the show was attended by none other than Vale himself.
What shall I say? I'm happy to be here at Oakland Metro, and I think there's two really good musician-driven bands, and I'm grateful they came all the way here.
Research paid respect to the late great Alan Vega on their merch stand, as well as had most of their catalog on sale that night. After a while of watching the people pay to get in and get their wrists stamped, it was showtime. First band up on the bill was local punk outfit Love Songs. They hopped up on stage and treated us all to some blistering rock and roll.
Next up on the bill was Dick Lucas's band, Culture Shock. Killer ska punk filled the air as the band tore through their set.
Testing. 1, 2, 2, sound check.
We are.
Does it sound like this? Does it sound like that? Can you hear me when I'm speaking? Does it sound okay when it reaches your ears? Is it okay if you don't mind me squeaking? That's pretty good, that. Complete lack of feedback. Nice one on the vocal front. What do you reckon, mate? Guitar sounds good. Drums sound good.
With a love song.
And the bass sounds good. A whole 2 days isn't getting away from reappearing on somewhere like open stage. Love songs, what a fucking band. Give them one enormous American hand. Basically, folks, we're called Culture Shock. We're from the U of K. We came over here after a long, long time of being very far away. It's nice to come to Oakland, and that's where we begin. Let's have a song about all the things you get when you can't win. 2, 3.
1, 2. 1, 2, 2,
10% discount in the store. Just right to the fight what you can't afford. You never thought I'd buy it before. They call it a trick, it's a man next door. It's 1 point ahead in the sailor's war. And it's 10% off, so you buy one more. 10% off, freedom of choice. 10% off, 8 to 3 days. 10% off, so far where you can. 10% off, the royalty paid. Holidays cancelled against the sale. It's the last 3 days. The old mindset didn't look too good when it came in the mail. The love is not getting friends till you change your hotel. You're on the right track, but your biggest derail. There's a success can't win me. Just stay up. 10% off, freedom of choice. 10% off, 8 to 3 days. 10% off, so far where you can. 10% off, the royalty paid. That's what it says. If you can't afford it, that's for the right. Don't let it less and I'm going on the way. Making my 49,000 days. Freedom becomes an acid to steal. The 10% off to beginning to feel. Changing its owners and being shaking deal. Cause the price of your freedom is really unreal. The real stuff is guaranteed. Come to the seal. Well, yeah, man, I got some. But it's not for sale. No, it's not for sale. No, it's not for sale. It's not for sale. It's not for sale.
Mr. Lucas, how you doing, sir?
Bearing up under the strain.
All right.
Yeah, pretty good.
All right. Something I want to lead off with. What's your opinion of the recent events in the U.S. regarding the violence towards policemen and Black Lives Matter movement? Do you have an opinion on that?
I'm forming one fairly based on my old opinion. It's like the whole country is full of like racism, discrimination, segregation, and unfortunately it's so not normal, except it's become normalised. Except now it's really kicking off in the worst possible way. The reaction against so many people being shot on an almost daily basis, year after year, increasing year after year. The numbers are going up, the amount of people being killed by the police, proportionally the amount of coloured people being killed by the police. the reaction against that is for people to come out with their own guns, which they're like so legally entitled to have, and start killing cops. It's what logically you would expect to happen, and it's happening. None of it's good. Not at all. You can't say revenge is a good thing. More lives being lost. You could say the cops deserve it, but that's just petty thinking. In the end, the cops need to like be, what's the word? Re-educated. But that's a slow process, and it ain't working so far. There's very little hope in the situation as there is at the moment. I'm not surprised it's kicking off as it is, and the more the country becomes aware of like the amount of shit that black people get from the cops on a daily basis, just for the colour of their skin, the prejudice in if they want to get a job or climb up the so-called social ladder whatsoever is made so much harder by their colour. I tell you, man, the whole of society should go blind for a couple of years, and then we can find out what people are really like. And then when we wake up from our blindness and see what colour people are around us, it won't matter anymore. We'd understand that human beings are like basically a collection of thoughts and intelligence and attitudes that are completely separate from what colour they are on the outside edge, you know?
Pressure! Always look like you lost the touch. Asking favours on the telephone. Get out it feels to be alone. And the words just sticking in your throat too long. To the thoughts and the timing and the chance are gone. Remember, smile never turns to agree. The barriers up, the feelings. Pressure! 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 Gathering your friends, this never flame, this heat never ends. One more the voices on the end of the phone, and when you left you, now you're really alone. I guess you read last with one singing eye. It's just a good dust on the memory banks. The past gets dimmer, the future looks blank. Pressure! 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 I'm keeping your head straight. Above all the pressure, running the room, you're trying to forget her. Sit tired and wait, concentrate on the now, resolve and decide not to let it get you down.
What your opinion is of Brexit too.
Yeah, that's a great big explosion. That wasn't meant to happen. The whole idea of having that vote was more or less forced on David Cameron, the Tory leader in the UK, by this party called UKIP, United Kingdom Independence Party, whose whole stance was vaguely just racist, saying we want the UK to be separate, we want the immigration levels to go down, we want the immigration controls to be stepped up because they're stealing our jobs. So they thought, right, we'll have a vote on whether to stay in the European Union or not. And Brexit was the shortened version of Britain exit. Right. And by 51 to 49%, the vote went to leave. Since when, it became very apparent that it's like racism has suddenly become not as bad as it used to be, and all these closet racists are coming out. Stupid racism. It's more xenophobia than racism, though, because it's not just the colour of the skin. It's like these idiots are starting to really resent anyone coming in from Europe taking the jobs, especially Polish people, Romanians, whatever colour they are, whatever the country they're from. They're coming over and taking our jobs. Most of them are actually coming over inventing their own jobs that didn't exist before. They're not glamorous jobs. They're like, you want your car cleaned when you park it outside a supermarket. Suddenly there's a whole team who for a couple of pounds will clean your car, and they're all Polish or whatever because they invented that job because it wasn't there. Gap in the market, you would call it, I guess. The hysteria from both sides leading up to that vote was ridiculous, completely biased. On the Leave side, it was completely racist and over the top about immigration numbers. The fact is, the immigration numbers aren't going to change much because the laws about that are not consistent with the idea that suddenly if we leave, we can be in control of how many people come in and go out. It doesn't work like that. The EU isn't the only part of Europe that we're in. There are other divisions, there's NATO and so on, within a whole continent that we're still part of. Yeah, so you've got these closet idiot racists coming out, people telling immigrants, now we voted leave, that means you've got to leave, and it's really vicious. It's nasty and it's fucking worrying. The pound fell from its whatever value to a lot less. I got a mate who lives in Gibraltar, which is a UK island just south of Spain, and because the pound got demolished in value, his rent has shot up by a third all of a sudden. He can't afford to live there anymore. Things like this are happening as like ripples in the wave of that. They haven't actually. They've got to go through this process of making the steps to get the process going to leave. It isn't just like you're suddenly out. It takes like 2 years from when you push the start button. No one's pushed that start button as yet. In the meantime, the whole Tory government collapsed. David Cameron quit, and they've elected a new leader who's not been elected by the public but by themselves, which is kind of undemocratic. She's got rid of a whole bunch of idiots and brought in a new bunch of idiots. So the whole government is now completely different. The opposition is in complete chaos as well, when they got the perfect chance to make themselves top of the bill or whatever, by pointing out all the bullshit and stuff the Tories are going down with. Yeah, the country's in a fair amount of chaos. A lot of people who voted to leave did so as a protest vote against the government. They were so sick of the austerity measures that are going on. The austerity measures have basically cut services, mental health, benefits to people on low wages, not just unemployed people, but people who were employed in a whole skew of shitty jobs that they've invented, like 0 hours contract jobs, where you sign up and you may or may not get X amount or no amount of work every week. It's almost on a daily basis. There's no security whatsoever, very little wages in it. Loads of people got those jobs. It really helps the unemployment figures and the publicity, the propaganda they put out about how things are going so well economically. People are suffering at the bottom end of the economic pyramid, where we're using like coins and notes, and at the top end where they're just pressing buttons and transferring £1 million here, £1 million there from one department to another and saying this is going really well. That's how it works. It is about the economy, I guess, and they've just claimed that we're in debt, we've got to get the debt down. What debt? You owe the banks. The banks, the whole thing's controlled by the banks anyway, and the market, and it's in the government's interest to keep that myth going, that it's all in our interest to get rid of our debt. It's not our debt, it's the money they waste on themselves, paying themselves massive bonuses and wages, and just hoarding all the money that's made by industry to the detriment of industry itself, because industry needs workers who need to earn wages to spend the money on things that are made by the workers, so the economy rolls along nicely like that, you know, without productivity, without spendable money, consumerism, whatever. It's me not praising consumerism, but you know what I mean. Without people spending money, there's no interest, there's no development. People don't keep getting jobs, and you end up with a whole bunch of shitty jobs shared by a bunch of people who can't afford to do anything else except work at shitty jobs, being shat on by a government saying that we need to raise more money to pay off some sort of fucking debt to the banks who just made the money in the first place. It's the same sort of shit that's happening over here, really, except over there at the moment it's in fast motion. From like an anarcho point of view, leaving was actually a better idea because Europe was becoming like almost like a super state where big central control from Brussels was sending out a lot of laws that independent countries were rather resenting and stuff. A lot of petty laws were coming through about the shape of bananas, yada yada yada. But what it also did was redistribute the money they got from the country's membership fees, what they call it, millions per week or whatever was going into the European fund coffers, whatever. But they could send money back to countries in poor, destabilised areas like Wales or Cornwall in the UK and put millions into areas that needed development, industrial development, to make things better. All that's now stopped. And the thing is, I voted to stay in because if we left the whole control of the whole country in the hands of the fucking Tory party, it would just get fucking worse and worse. I saw the EU as being like a break on the worst excesses of our own fucking government that we got at the moment.
I've got so much information now, I don't want to know it all. I feel left out if I raise it now, it's like talking to the wall. Trying to settle down. Take another to the moment of the plan. On top of all of this, I'll say I don't know. Something that's the latest, it's a shut up and join in. Politics and loneliness, anger in the eyes. There's a place of shadows, now we're civilized. So much compromise. Now we're civilized. Buildings.
The worst US president.
Yeah, just for the fun of it. Worst US president ever in your opinion?
George Bush the second. Second George Bush. A complete idiot. A stupid puppet of the fucking neocon people like fucking Wolfowitz and Dick Cheney and all that lot. They were there along there with his dad, creating the first fucking Iraq war, and then the second one. The Iraq war has totally led to ISIS, the complete destabilisation of the whole of the Middle East. That's going to run for fucking decades. They've really fucked it up by doing that, just to get hold of more fucking oil, just to get hold of more territory, more profits, to give everybody the fucking American way of life by driving SUVs around. That's a simplistic way of putting it, but it's all about power and control. And the way to keep power over people is to make them happy by giving them loads of convenience. Make them not worried about politics in general. People don't think about politics generally at all. If they're happy and convenient, they've got the big fucking widescreen TV and a big vehicle to show off to their fucking friends. They'll just live their life in blissful fucking ignorance of what the fuck is being caused in different countries where, and then when the oil runs out on your home turf, you want to go get some more. And there's a lot lying around under the desert, and they want some more of that. They want control over it. And yeah, look where we are now. That plus 9/11, which I think was completely set up by the same fucking neocons to create an excuse to go head into Afghanistan. A lot of oil over there as well. And he didn't want the Russians getting hold of it all either. And then to Iraq on the Saddam Hussein basis. They pick a dictator, anyone. Oh, here's one we never heard of, who we were working with beforehand, quite nicely, selling him arms and that to keep the Kurds down and repress his own fucking people in the name of getting along with him so we can extract more money, petrodollars, and it's a fucking tangled web. But bottom line is, it's all about power and greed at the expense of a lot of people's lives. And now it's really fucking backfiring because they've lost control. We, the civilized white Western fucking male-dominated world, have lost control of what we thought we had control of in the fucking Middle East. You can't control it. We pour into fucking Iraq. We don't know how it works. We've got no idea how to rebuild it whatsoever. There are no plans. Nobody knows anything about it. They don't realise this. Their religious divides over there, the tribalism, is fucking extreme. And in a way, it was only kept quiet by Saddam Hussein's really repressive methods of government. Otherwise, they'd all been in a civil war anyway. Without Saddam Hussein, their new enemy they had, apart from each other, was America, trying to take over. And it was bound to fail from the first place. From that grew the extension of Al-Qaeda, which became the group now called ISIS, along with the Wahhabis from Saudi Arabia. There's another. Saudi Arabia, Clinton's best friends and all that, they're totally on the money swinging it all our way. And yeah, and they're some of the most, that's one of the most repressive regimes on the planet. They're bombing the fuck out of Yemen at the moment. There's a whole bunch of civil wars going on. I think it started on Syria yet, and Lebanon. I forgot about that. Oh yeah. Meanwhile, there's still Israel-Palestine going on. It's like shit. Pick your region. Now there's Turkey going mad with this planned or unpre-planned army coup that failed, which allows the what's his name? I've forgotten. I have actually forgotten. The Turkish leader has now got an excuse to clamp down on every perceived enemy of the state that's going on, introduce new laws, bring back the death penalty, that sort of thing. Erdogan, that's his name. Yeah, the world's just collapsing. And you can put it down to 9/11 and the Iraq war as a start point for a hell of a lot of the trouble going on right now.
One, two, three, I wanna be free. Every solidarity wants a piece of me. I take to day, postcode please. Everything else is on for the screen. Secrecy, we're doing that for me. Everything comes on. TV, looking after me. Take the sound of the guilty. and take control of the need for visibility. I see you on the sea, leave the mention of non-intention of unity. I don't wanna be number, what you think? I don't wanna be I don't wanna be I don't wanna be Thank you very much.
Nice one.
Thank you.
They were followed by the one, the only World Inferno Friendship Society.
How you kids doing? Come closer to the stage. A big part of this performance is how we smell. You won't get the pheromones if you stand in the back. We've been on tour for 3 weeks. We only brought 4 outfits. So trust me, the pheromones are quite exquisite. My name is Jack. What's your name? Nice to see you. I'd like to introduce some friends of mine. Scott, why don't you do this? You like it so much.
The World Inferno Friendship
like tears
Nice to see everybody. My name is Jack Terrycloth. I'm from that World Inferno Friendship Society band from Brooklyn, New York. Yeah, it's very nice to be here in Oakland, California.
Mr. Terrycloth, what first inspired the band's sound as far as the klezmer/punk/everything?
I would say the music of the composer Kurt Weill, who wrote Three Penny Opera.
This next one goes out to our tour mates, the Culture Shocks. Also to our old friend, the Phenomena. And to anyone else here who's ever chosen this bizarre lifestyle that we do, not so well, but with great joy, inertia, and inclination. Called, you're going to wake up tomorrow in the back of a club on top of beer cases that nobody wants. The disarming smile and the gamble there, soldier on, soldier boy, soldier on. There is the song working, just golden days traveling far from home, so far from home, you can't remember. You dream of the people dream, wake up and close up where and what you are back again, be a thing that nobody wants. But you your own this sky so low. Suffer and break, people of mine, so blue.
What's it been like so far touring with Culture Shock?
Well, we've known them for a very, very long time. We toured with the Subhumans several times. We toured with Citizen Fish once. So it's been like coming home.
What do you got? Any special surprises planned for the set tonight, or?
I plan to live through it and hit all the notes.
Down, 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 down,
You know, when you're on tour, you have to play the hits. So sometimes kids at home complain that we play more of the more well-known songs on tour than we do back in New York.
Cool.
So YouTube will be very happy.
What has changed from the band's inception to now, you think? And has it changed for the better or worse, would you say?
Oh. Well, a lot's changed. I mean, we go through members like... We have a very evolving, fluid membership. You know, we have a pool of more than 40 musicians that go on tour with us because we tour a lot. A lot has changed. I mean, obviously we've gotten older. I can't say we do less drugs or drink less. We've actually gotten punkier as we've gotten older. I'm not sure why that is. It would be an interesting question to ask other bands. But we started out more clickety-clackety jazzy, and now our new songs almost sound kind of like OC punk.
God, you've told me this. Things lying around were left for us to say. Long as they were born, just as we're made, to enjoy it. Let's find something for us to do.
Changed from the songwriting process since the band's inception to now, you think? Do you write songs any differently? Has anything changed as far as what inspires you?
Well, definitely stopped writing songs about how I feel about things and write more about historical figures or events. So yeah, but I think that's just a maturing process, because after all you realize people don't really care how you feel, but there's still issues that you can relate to. And if you put it in a historical context, you can admit things that you wouldn't necessarily admit if the song was about you.
Good morning, home. Big more on the stranger.
the crowd thinned out, the smiles on everyone's faces said, "We had a killer time." All three bands played their hearts out, and it showed. A big thank you to all the bands who played that night.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was it for our live show report. Hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed being there. This is your roving reporter, Judas Corpse Boy, and I'm out.
Tonight here in San Francisco, the people here are going to the DNA Lounge for what's become a tradition in Northern California. One of the oldest in the Gothic scene, in fact. What could I be talking about? Death Guild has called San Francisco its home since all the way back in 1993. From its humble origins in a small space called The Pit, it's grown to become the longest-running Gothic club in the U.S. and the second oldest in the world. The club moved to the DNA Lounge in 2008 from a venue called the Glass Cat. This venue features a main dance floor and an upstairs lounge, each with its own DJs. Add to that the pizza restaurant connected to the place, and you have the makings of a one-of-a-kind venue for a goth club and Bay Area institution. After a while of checking the club out, it was time to talk to the head man of the club. This is the man who created Death Guild and keeps it going to this day. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you David King.
Hey there, what's your name, sir?
Hi, I'm David King.
Mr. King, how long have you been doing Death Guild?
I believe we're a little over 23 years now.
How does it feel to be the longest running goth night, second longest running goth night in the world, and the oldest one in North America?
Well, first I'll debate whether or not we are the longest running goth club, because as we put it, we are the longest running continuous weekly goth club in the world. And it feels great. We've had a ton of customers, we've had slow years, but we've always provided a place that people could return to year after year, decade after decade. And that's what I want to keep doing.
Cool. So that was the first night you DJ digitally?
It was the second time I DJ'd digitally.
And yeah, we had a little mishap there. How'd it go, you think?
It's not bulletproof. I mean, it's not as solid as CDs. There's plenty of people out there that are doing it digitally, and it's perfectly reliable. But it's one of those things where you always have a CD on backup, so there's no more than a few seconds of dead air.
Cool. How did you first get involved in Death Guild?
Well, I moved here from New Jersey, and me and a few friends were looking for something to do, so we found this club on Monday night. We bribed our way in with some change and clove cigarettes and sunglasses, and really liked the place. I told the guy who was running it, hey, anything I can do to help out, let me know. And a couple months later, he was done, and I took over and started a new night, and that was Death Guild.
Awesome. So how do you pick the tracks you like to spin?
For me, it's the stuff I like personally is something, the words have to say something to me, the music has to move me. When I DJ, I like thinking of it as telling a story, where you have ups, you have downs, it gives a little bit of everything to everyone. Sometimes it's just plain weird.
Cool. What do you think the future's going to be for Death Guild? You of course you plan to keep going, but what do you think? Anything special coming up, or?
Well, I mean, I'm starting planning for the 25th anniversary. I mean, it seems a little early because we still have the 24th anniversary coming up, but quarter century is going to be a pretty big milestone. Yeah, I mean, it's just going to do what I have to do to keep it going.
Groovy. Anything you'd like people out there to know?
We're here every Monday. We have been for 23 years, and we will keep being here every Monday as long as I can make it happen.
But he's not the only DJ here, of course. I spoke to one of the other DJs who handles the upstairs lounge. Meet Michael Vile.
Okay, sir, could you please state your name?
Michael Vile.
And you're a DJ here at Death Guild?
Yes.
How long have you been DJing here?
I started doing some guest sets here about 5-6 months ago.
Oh, so you're a relatively new DJ?
Yes, yes.
Are you new to the Bay Area as well?
No, I'm Bay Area born and raised.
Cool. Why do you choose what you like to spin?
I'm sorry.
How do you choose what you spin?
I actually have always been of the philosophy of just kind of playing whatever it is that I feel passionate about, whatever it is that I love, and I just kind of hope that everybody really feels the same way. And so far, that philosophy's really been working out.
Anything you want to say to the people at home?
Whatever it is you do, no matter what, you got to follow your passion, follow your dreams. If you have art inside of you, let it out.
What do you usually like to spin, by the way?
Like a lot of industrial agrotech. A lot of Suicide Commando, Dismantled. But I also, I grew up in the metal scene, so I also like to play, a lot of that. So I'll throw out some, some more stuff like Rammstein and the White Zombie, Rob Zombie. So I mean, I kind of like to spin just a little bit of anything, kind of whatever takes me in the moment.
So that's about it. If you ever find yourself in San Francisco on a Monday night and are in need of a killer goth club, then here's where you want to go. As usual, tell 'em Moshed Potatoes sent ya. This is Judas Corpse Boy, your roving scene reporter, out.
This is Alleyways and Avenues Media. Moshed Potatoes presents the protest show on April 7th, 2017 at Gilman. This ought to be good.
April 7th, 2017, 924 Gilman Street in Berkeley, California. Bands are loading into the club at 6 p.m. for a show that makes a statement. A show to protest the current administration of Cheeto Benito himself, Donald Trump. Planned Parenthood and the Council on American Islamic Relations were invited to the show, and they sent 2 representatives, Sherry Grevin from Planned Parenthood and Amina Abid from CARE. Both ladies were set up at their own merch table and set out donation jars. Then it was time for the bands to set up at the main Gilman merch table. The headliner, Ghoul, had a rather unusual piece of merch. Their own flavor of hot sauce from the independent artisan brand Hella Hot Hot Sauce. But more on that later. Pretty soon, the clock hit 7:30 p.m. and it was time for the first band. Ladies and gentlemen, all the way from Half Moon Bay, California, meet House of Wolves.
Yeah, I found did have one.
Yeah, over here.
You want to get it?
How are we doing these days? We are all out in California. This guy's on the outside. This is the middle of the night. God, yeah, go on. Get on, walk away. Talk, God, Lord.
their way through their set, and judging by all the banging heads, they were a hit. Pretty soon, was time for the next band. Public Safety hit the stage for some classic East Bay punk.
Move up. Come on. Oh, yeah. You guys are scared of what's going to happen over here? Move over here. We're a punk band. This is a collective thing. We want you all. We don't want anybody sitting in the back being too cool for this shit. I'm going to move around a little bit. We're Public Safety. From here. We know who the fuck you guys are, so we're going to get this started. Even better to be on one when there's a Trump pinata and Planned Parenthood's taking donations. Yeah!
Halfway through Public Safety's set, the lead vocalist had some choice words for Trump's America.
That says they're coming after all of us. They're racist and sexist and homophobic and starting wars in the Middle East. Fuck them.
Fuck Donald Trump!
If they come to attack our health clinics, we're fucking there. We're gonna fucking stand up and we're gonna protect the clinics. They shoot another black teenager in the streets, we're coming out. We're coming after those motherfuckers. Fuck them.
Fuck them!
Fuck them.
Fuck that shit! Fuck that shit!
Next up were Bay Area DB terrorists Disvain.
CDs, tapes, records, t-shirts. We got a whole bunch of stuff free on the Bandcamp. Check that out. This
After this vein, it was time to get the inverted crucifixes out with Bay Area black metal band Veil. Mr. Vale's absolutely killer set, it was time for our guest speakers from Planned Parenthood and CARE to hit the stage.
So my name is Amina. I'm with CARE. You guys may have seen me in the back. CARE is the Council on American Islamic Relations. And I wanted to start off by thanking Dean Ricks for inviting us out tonight. Thank you. So I'm going to actually talk a little bit about CARE, but also Dean wanted me to speak a little bit to tolerance amongst this Trump era right now and the Trump-apocalypse we're all experiencing. CARE is the Council on American Islamic Relations. We're the nation's largest civil rights advocacy group for Muslims in America. Some of you guys may be aware of the executive order that Trump has issued banning Muslims from America right now. Just as we were waiting in the back, we're getting emergency calls from people who are still detained at the airport as we speak. And part of the work that we do is we provide free legal aid to representation to these people who are being stuck and held and detained and searched unlawfully at these airports. So we're working on that emergency right now as we speak.
Sir, fuck that shit! Fuck that shit! Yeah.
But a little bit to the topic that Dean mentioned about tolerance during this time, I wanted to talk about tolerance that we can achieve through unity. And right now, more than ever, we all really need to stand together in order to defend our civil rights, our constitutional rights, and everything that has been afforded to us through the Constitution.
Woo!
That this country was founded on, stand for religious freedom, the freedom of speech, press, peaceful assembly, and the right to complain about our government without repercussion. Together, we need to say no to identity-based databases, no to ICE raids, no to police brutality, no to federal law enforcement targeting marginalized groups, and no to internment camps.
Yeah.
We can create the path for America to be true to her dream with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah! Sure.
Some of the stuff that CARE has been doing, some of you guys might know we filed a lawsuit against Trump after he issued his executive order.
Yeah.
We're engaging the media and elected officials to advocate against the Muslim ban. We've been providing free and confidential legal representation, as I mentioned. We're training our youth to become the leaders and game changers for tomorrow, and we're committed to using every tool in the toolbox to fight back against these discriminatory policies. Just know that we will be here no matter what may come. We're standing by to defend everybody and defend our constitutional rights.
Thank you so much for that. So I'm just going to point out to everybody right here, we have our 2 donation boxes. CARE's is this black one here. Planned Parenthood is the silver circular one. So when we're talking about what CARE does, they have 4 people that operates everything that she just talked about in the 9 Bay Area counties. So everything that you donate tonight to CARE is helping everything that they do. Defending people in our airports, defending people's civil rights. So if you want to donate a couple bucks to CARE, do it here in this black box.
Bring it on.
We appreciate it. So from Planned Parenthood's perspective, holy shit. Can we just start there? So, can I just get a hoo-yah or a hand up to anyone that has ever been to a Planned Parenthood Health Center? Thank you. So our 2 local health centers in Oakland served just last year 11,000 people. Someone earlier asked me about, is this real? Is this threat real? 100% it is real. The vote that they wanted to have 2 weeks ago was to strip low-income people's opportunity to come to Planned Parenthood. So of those 11,000 patients, we're talking 95% of them are low income and on Medicaid. So if the federal government decides that Planned Parenthood can no longer see Medicaid patients, you're looking at 11,000 people in this community that can no longer come to Planned Parenthood. Thank you. Thank you. Why is it a radical idea? It should not be a radical idea that women have access to birth control. It should not be a radical idea that a person has freedom to plan if, when, how she or that couple will parent. That is not a radical idea. It is not a radical idea to have ownership over your own body to make your own life choices. So the Planned Parenthood way is non-judgmental, unbiased. You come to us for healthcare, period. We don't ask questions about your faith. We don't ask questions about your gender. We don't ask questions about your sexuality. We don't ask questions about your immigration status. We are here. Our doors are open for you to provide comprehensive care. So that is what Planned Parenthood is about. And this administration is intent on rolling back time. They are intent on taking away your access to reproductive freedom. And we are not going to let that happen. So we thank everyone to put this on. We thank the bands. We thank the artists, the musicians, everybody that has been standing with Planned Parenthood.
Thank you.
Thank you everyone who's been donating.
Thank you.
And sometimes thank you just isn't enough. So our promise to you, to everyone that's been giving to us, our promise to you is that we will fight like hell to keep our doors open. That they are not going to shut us down without a fight. Doesn't stand up here alone. We stand with our Muslim brothers and sisters. We stand with the undocumented community. We stand with all immigrants. We stand with the LGBTQ community. We stand with everyone that just wants to live their life.
Thank you. Thank you.
So thank you to everyone coming out. Thank you, Berkeley, for just being a place that is safe. So again, thank you so very much. Anyone that wants to donate, please do so. And if you want some free buttons and stickers, come to the back. If you want more information about CARES, come to the back. We'll be here for a few more minutes. But again, thank you to everyone. And please, get yourself tested. Go get your birth control. Practice safe sex, and we love you.
After the sage words from Planned Parenthood and CARE, Zombie Holocaust had their turn at starting a circle pit.
singing along. Anyhow, we're very happy to be here for the next 30 minutes. We got some rock and roll too for y'all. So we hope you guys came to have a good time. Thank you guys for being here. Take a guess at what this one's called. This one's about bicycles.
Oh yeah, and then after Zombie Holocaust, some asshole with a red mohawk got on the stage with a Trump pinata.
My name's Dean. I do Moshed Potatoes. It's a YouTube channel. Check it out on YouTube. You see the big NP logo, you're there. Also, Moshed Potatoes Radio, doing the best in punk and goth and whatever I feel like. 24/7. Check it out too if you can. But anyway, one organization that I think really needs support that wasn't mentioned here tonight, they were invited here but they didn't show up, was the ACLU. These guys are on the front lines of the fight, they deserve your support too. Now, they weren't able to be here tonight. Let's support them. Okay, well anyway,
it's time for the band that everyone came to see, Ghoul.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. What the hell is going on here? Looks like a bunch of pinko, stinko, commie bullshit, you ask me. Where'd you get that haircut, boy? Listen, y'all, you can have a cute little rock concert show or your little protest or whatever, but the fact is you lost. Get over it. We're taking over now, all over the world. You got my man, Donald Trump, making America great again. Tay over there in the Philippines, slapping up them junkies. Nigel Farage, Marine Le Pen, though I ain't so sure about her. She seems a little French, if you know what I'm saying. And then you got Common Dr. Brunkham over there in Creepsylvania. He was cleaning house, man. Got rid of them gypsies, the liberals, the snowflakes and cucks, the feminists, and the feminazis. But don't worry, he said he's gonna keep the regular Nazis. But best of all, he's cracking down on ghouls. You heard of these ghoul freaks? Living in the damn sewers and whatnot, wearing saxophone on their heads, playing that heavy metal punk rock devil music. It's disgusting. And people listen to that trash. It's true, it's true. I saw it on the internet. Man, people who like that mess are a bunch of goddamn godless, scum-sucking commie freaks.
They might be gods, fucking commie-sucking freaks. I don't know what you just said, but I know they prefer to be called the lunatics.
What's up? We're here with Ghoul. How you guys doing?
A little nauseous. I think I ate some pretty disgusting crusty and it's not agreeing with me.
All right, you guys just came off a European tour as well as playing Netherlands Death Fest. How'd that go?
It was great. Europeans are delicious. They're lean. They're not too fatty like us Americans.
That's true. They pair well with Chimay.
Cool. Well, have you guys started working on the next album yet, or are you taking a break for now?
No, not yet. We haven't found any new albums to riff on.
No, it takes a little while, you know.
I have no. For creeps and mania. A country that's no longer accepting fucking immigrants from America, by the way. Now, and tonight, we are bringers of death, and we are bringers of war. But most of all, we're bringers of war is what we are. But most of all, we are bringers of war. monsters, staring dudes, the Metallicus X
You played 70,000 tons of metal. What was that like?
Nauseating. Yeah, I did a lot of puking over this side.
Cool. Which flesh tastes best, metalheads or punks?
Definitely not punks. Yeah, I mean, judging by tonight's buffet, I would have to probably say the metalheads.
Cool. Who would win in a fair fight, Killbot or Deadpool?
Trick question. We don't fight fair.
Mosh Pit, killer music, and don't forget the hot sauce. 924 Gilman hosted an awesome show. Everyone had a great time, and the show went off without a hitch. Hey, what more can I say?
And that was the show. It was fucking rad. If you weren't here, you missed out. But don't worry, we're going to take a hell of more shows. So stay tuned to Mosh Potatoes, and I'll see you fuckers later. We are here with Dave Dichter, the one and only from MDC. How you doing, guy?
I'm doing fine, man.
And you said you had a book that you just wrote you want to talk about?
Yeah, it's called Memoirs from a Damaged Civilization, and it's out on Manic Tea Press, and I put it out, they put it out in April, and I've been going around, pumping it and everything else. We're up to about 3,000 copies. We're in the middle of our second print. Took it to Europe this year, 40 days. Real happy about it. I started writing it 2.5 years ago. I was really sick in the hospital. I contracted MRSA, taking care of my brother in hospice. He had lung cancer, spread to his stomach and brain, and he had diabetes at the same time. They took off his foot, and he had an infection. I didn't realize it, and somehow I contracted MRSA. It's not really difficult, actually. It's a very contagious fucking thing, and they had to do 3 different rounds of antibiotics. They finally get it. I was in the hospital, very sick for a long time. Kind of fucked up, just realizing how you can be healthy as hell one day and, think everything's moving just great. And then, just be sick as a motherfucking dog. And it really was just sick as a dog, and I was delirious. I drank too much water. I could see something was going wrong. I was getting weaker and weaker. I started, doing all this naturopathic things, flush my system, blah, 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 and I ended up desalinating the salt levels in my blood, which causes it causes you to go delirious, actually, and it's very dangerous as well. My level was 1.8, it should be 3, and there I was with MRSA and my inner organs, in the kidney, they saw some up in the lung region. And I had to do these antibiotics, and I sat in the hospital pretty much for a month. And then I sat to sit at home for a month and a half after that, all hooked up, getting home nurse care. And I got better, It took a long time. I had to start walking again. And everything just went weak on me. And within about 4 months, I was able to, crawl around. I actually played even acoustic on one show. And then within 4 months after that, I did a couple electric gigs. And how you doing, man?
You know who it is, right?
What?
What's going on?
How are you?
What's up, man?
I'm fine. Hey, Gregorius.
Hey, Gregorius.
No, be nice.
Go ahead.
Come on.
Hey, Bubba. How are you?
We respect our elders. We respect our lords.
How you doing, man?
You saw that? You saw how that looked like it was about to be bad, right? But guess what? I know who you are, and I respect you, and I love you.
Cool, man.
Cool.
You be well.
Fuck, man, I miss you, bro.
I miss.
We need you, dude. We hella need you, man.
Okay.
It's not like it used to.
Just talking about I got real sick and coming back. Still not all 100%
No,
there.
I know, but like we still love you, bro. Like all my niggas do. Like we all respect you, and we hella remember you. And you did the best you could all the way to the finish, and you held it, and then you finally like chilled. But like we thought you were gone, and like right now I'm seeing you. I'm like.
Right on, man.
I knew it, dude. I knew he never died, nigga.
Cool, man.
I knew you never lied. I knew you never died, man. I missed you, bro.
Well, cool.
We love you.
All right, man.
Come back, okay?
Okay, what's your name?
Gregarious.
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 No, I hit it like this. Like the way you told us. Keep it solid, remember?
Yeah.
Love you, man.
Good to see you.
Represent. Die or die destructed. Die or die fucking uninformed. Die or die confused. Who you fucking with? I'm gonna talk to you, bitch. I'm gonna talk to you, bitch.
The real deal.
Logan, San Jose. Anyway, has the way you write songs changed at all?
It's kind of cool. Leave them in.
I'm going to. I'm definitely going to.
I didn't know where it was going.
I
you know, I saw the skateboard. You know, just with friend or foe. You know, blah blah. He knows who I am, but you know, it's a generalized statement. You say David, you see brother, blah blah blah, and you know, just gotta float through it. Everyone's on their different level of being able to deal with shit and what they can give out to the universe and all that. But happy I did get better. You know, I'm still about 10-20% down, I'd say. But I've been pumping it out. We're doing 100 gigs this year. We're going to Asia in January. We went to Europe last year. I finally turned the corner last spring and just forced myself, even with a stiff neck and wobbling into the van, I forced myself to start playing, you know, and I was get up on stage, you know, and then you really use it or lose it. And my health started improving, you know, my physical neck and just, you know, how stiff things were, my slip disc and herniated disc in my back, and I got scoliosis and all this other long-term shit, you know, that had nothing to do with the Mercer, but being down in the hospital for 2 or 3 months kind of freezed up my body. So then, you know, I was just so stiff. It was just so hard to be able to deal with it. But anyway, you know, and part in that thing, I wrote the book and just said, I'm going to go out there and just live large, tour, and just enjoy life as much as I can. And here I am in San Jose, enjoying life. I'm just happy to be alive and playing. We played San Francisco on a Tuesday night. We played Knockout, that little bar, and it was just a great homecoming, a lot of old friends, and this is the 6th day of a 34-day tour. And life is good. We're going down to LA, play a big festival with Total Chaos and Casualties and a bunch of other bands. And good to be alive, just good to be making music. You know, it's always been good to be alive. I've never disappreciated life. I mean, I did a little when I was a drug addict and blah, blah, blah. And that's 16, 18, 20 years ago. But you know, enjoy every day, you know, find what you love and live it, and you know, and fucking, you know, get out there and do it. Follow your bliss, all that good shit, you know, Joseph Campbell's been saying, and you know, and just be happy with what you are. Don't let other people tear you down, and you know, and just celebrate life as best you can, because you get one skinny ass little life. You know, be with the people that make you feel good, do the things that want to make you feel good. Try to be honest to yourself, because that's ultimately where, you know, freedom is, you know, is being true to yourself. You know, don't wait till you're 80 years old to decide, you know what, I'm a bisexual, you know, whatever, you know, snorkeler, or, you know, who loves to swim with dolphins, you know, whatever. Find it out before you get old. I know it's tough. There's so much pressure to survive and, you know, earn a living and everything else. I've been pretty charmed at that. Not that we make fat money at MDC, but, you know, they feed us to pay us to get down the line. And in my simple life, you know, I don't need a hell of a lot. I just gave up my truck. You know, I had insurance to say, you know, I'm not even using it. You know, like, I don't need my truck. And I just kind of realized over the last 2 years how much you didn't need it. And just make life simple and good for yourself. Enjoy it. And I'm a real car truck person. I grew up in Long Island, New York. Man, it was so important when you're 16, 17, you get that first vehicle, freedom, blah, blah, blah. And I realized how much, you know, automobiles and trucks give you that freedom. And I was able to sleep in the back of my camper shell. And that was always cool, but I let it go. And enjoy life, everybody. That's what I'm saying. And no Trump, no KKK, no fascist USA.
You know, I had a whole bunch of questions, but you know what? I think you just answered every one of them plus.
Yeah, I'm voting. I'm going Hillary. Not telling anyone what to do, just what I feel comfortable doing. And I think Donald Trump is dangerous. You know, I think just that make kids feel depressed about being Muslim, about being Mexican, about being any minority because they don't fit in, you know, Donald Trump's worldview of what makes America great. It's just so sad, you know. I mean, just thinking that some kids got to worry about going to school, you know, where there's 28 other white kids in the class and there's 2 or 3 other people that feel different. And part of what I got in punk rock is, you know, I felt different, you know, and I think it's what brought a lot of us here. You just feeling like my sexuality, just the way I was. I grew up in a single-parent home back in the 50s and 60s, you know, where, you know, it was a lot more, you know, like Leave It to Beaver kind of, you know, world. And I remember just feeling very self-conscious, you know. I'm parented, never had a father come and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, enjoy life, everybody. Just give yourself a break. It's not your fault, you know. Just live every day, try to be free and good to yourself.